Hello and welcome back, arcade and electronics enthusiasts. Today, what we have on the bench here is a Tron board set, and I have a note here with it. This was from the email correspondence, and it says, "Hi, I have a Tron board set I sent out for repair about 2 months ago to, obviously, Eldorado." Okay. After I got it back, it only ran for about an hour before it started acting up. Currently, it sporadically boots to the game and will play normal for a few minutes. Then the background graphics will get wacky. Sprites are fine. When it does boot to the game, it boots to garbage. Okay. So, that kind of just reeks of bad sockets to me. But we'll go through and in full disclosure, I already did get my programmer out and try to dump all of these, because anytime I get an MCR board set, I try to dump the PALs. Sometimes you run into them where they're not protected, and I actually have good files for this one, that one, and that one. The two that I don't have are these two bigger ones. Those ones seem to always be protected. You know, the security fuse is always blowing on them. So, but every time I get a board set in like this, I try to dump those, because you never know. One of these times I'm going to come across a board set where the security fuse is not blown and you can dump them. I'm convinced that it will happen someday. Like I said, I've got 3 of the 5 files confirmed good. So, yeah. So I did do that. That's all I've done. I haven't hooked them up at all other than that. So we'll go ahead and do that, get this thing hooked up and see what happens, and see, without doing anything to it, without removing any chips or anything, I'm going to go ahead and hook it up and see if I can duplicate what was in that note. Okay, we are all hooked up, ready to go. So I've double checked, made sure that these are shifted properly. I'm not going to melt any of these. And we're all hooked up. Got my MCR stuff all out. So let's go ahead and fire this baby up and see what we get. Okay, I heard the sound amp. That's good. And that looks like booting to garbage. Just like he said. Okay, yeah. Let's play around with some of these EPROMs. Okay, nothing. Yeah, it's kind of booted to garbage. First thing I want to try is this. I want to just pop a new one of these timing chips, the Z80C, Z80 clock, CTC clock timing, or whatever it is. I want to try a new one of those and see what happens. Be right back. Okay, I replaced that chip, so we'll go ahead and start it up. And it's still garbage. It's actually running, at least. The program is running. Let's swap the other one back in really quick, because I want to see, does the program run? Yeah, it's got garbage everywhere, but does the program actually run? Okay. I think it's running. I hear the sound amp. Yeah, it's running. Okay. That's not the issue. Okay. We can definitely go through and check all of these RAM chips. Just get the Inquisitor out. I think that's what I'll do, is I'll just grab the Inquisitor and go through all of the RAM. And yeah, that's a good place to start. Okay. Okay, this is the video board. And this video board has been looked at. And I don't know what this full blast is all about. Full blast. Is that like a... I don't know. Anyway, this thing looks like it's had a lot of work done. There's a question mark on this chip. It's a 157. It looks like a lot of the stuff has been looked at and marked. I checked all of the RAM. All of the RAM are good. Not an issue at all. I am going to replace all of these sockets on this board. This has had a couple chips replaced here. We're going to refurb this board a little bit. Yeah, so do a little refurbing, and then we'll start looking, we'll start probing it and finding out what is actually wrong with it. All of the RAM are good, and I take it all of the ROMs are probably fine. This is a logic issue, so we'll figure it out. I just want to make sure that the RAM have good connections and stuff, and these sockets are just, they're not good. So all right, I'll be back. All right, so this board, the sockets have been removed and it has been thoroughly cleaned. I cleaned all of the prior work that was done to it as well. I inspected, these were resoldered, and I inspected it, and it looks okay. There's no shorts anyway. I checked it all. Yeah, no broken traces at all or nothing like that. Another thing I am going to do is I am going to make sure that these are not broke. So I'm going to like beep out the ground points and the 5-volt points. And then we'll repopulate sockets, put this back together, and then we can start looking at it. And you'll notice the all of the marker that was written on these chips is gone. That question mark's gone on that one because I clean it with alcohol and it washes all that off. So yeah, starting new, clean. So yeah. Okay, let me go ahead and start putting sockets back in this. Then I got to clean it again. I got to clean the flux off the board again. And then we'll be ready to populate it and start poking around on this thing, find out what's going on here. All right, we are fully populated with new sockets and cleaned thoroughly. You would never even know that these sockets have been replaced. But you'll know. You'll know that they have been. And you'll have peace of mind knowing that they have been. Alright, let's repopulate this thing and put it back together and fire it up. And see if it was just a bad socket issue or if it actually is a logic problem. I think it's going to be a logic problem. So we'll go ahead and take a look. Okay, well, I have repopulated this thing, and keep in mind I scrubbed and cleaned all of the prior work that was done. These were reflowed. I scrubbed that. Got my new sockets in. Got it fired up. And it seems to be perfect. So, it was also reported that when he first got this thing back from the prior repair, it would run for about an hour and then flake out. So, as always, I'm going to let this thing sit and run for at least 3 hours. Right now it is 3:34 p.m. So we're going to let this thing run until about 7 o'clock and we'll check back on it. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll start the game. I'll start the game and I'll play a game to put a first player score up there. So let's do that. Let me set up the camera. I'll put just a little bull crap score up so that I know if it ever resets in that 3.5 hours that we're going to let it run. So let me set the camera up and I'll be right back. Okay, well, should we do the effect? Yeah, let's turn the lights off. Be right back. Alright, it'll take that thing a minute to focus maybe. But now we are ready to try it out. And we can test the sounds this way. I'm sure the sounds are fine. But we'll check this out. Here's this. Okay. Try to get this and this. Alright. It's moving on its own. Hold on a second. Yeah, why is it going that way? It's going right on its own and the sound's not right. Now there's no sound. Something ain't kosher here. Something weird's going on. Yeah, now our light is on the soundboard. Did I have that? Let's retry this. All right, I'm going to try coining it up again. I think I might have had my no, now there's no sound. Okay. No sound. it's turning right on its own. There's something not right with this board. The I/O board is not right. So let me turn the light on. Okay. See, it turns right on its own. So, this board seems to be okay now. Now the problem seems to be this board, so I think we'll give it the same treatment. I think all of the sockets, this one, they got some jumper here to fix one of the sockets, it looks like. I think we need to just replace the sockets. And if this stuff isn't, yeah, these have not been inspected or redone. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more maintenance on both of these boards so that this thing will be solid. This board needs some definite attention. So, all right, well, let's get to it. And yeah, the sound just kind of went out, so that's kind of strange. So yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm in test mode. One of these isn't working right. So I'm going to go ahead and replace both of these. I don't know. I'm going to replace both of them and see if I get all of the channels working. I think one of these might be bad. No. That one has a red mark on it. Does that mean it's bad? I don't know. Let's just replace both of these and see what happens. Will I get all of the channel sounds? Okay, I have two new, or not new, but known good. There's the other two. And let's move this thing down to the channel test. Come on. I'm going to put the other two back in the board and see if it changes, because I think this might be a socket issue once again. Okay, I have the one that was marked with red that was in the board, along with one of my known good ones. This is the one I took out, and this has a rusty leg on it. I don't think this is actually bad. I think it doesn't work with the socket. Maybe, possibly. So we'll take this down to channel test. Okay. See, now it's not doing it. That's this one too. There it went. Popped. Yeah. See, it's just flaky. I am going to replace these sockets. I'm going to replace these too while I'm at it. All of these. You got to get rid of the flakiness. So, let's do it. Yeah, this wasn't even soldered onto here. That just came right off. What they did was they grounded that leg because it broke off. And then this wasn't really even soldered onto here. It was just kind of pressed into between the plastic and the pin. When I took this out of the socket, it came right off. It wasn't soldered, so that might have been an intermittent problem as well. So we're going to fix that. I will solder a leg onto that proper and replace these sockets. Okay, I got the sockets removed and the board cleaned up. And I did go through and scrub the board a little bit. As I looked under the microscope, there's a lot of dirt in here, so I kind of loosened that up, sprayed it off, cleaned it up, and resoldered this stuff and cleaned it up. And noticed that solder blob. That had to have been here. I hope that I have a shot of this board from prior to working on it so that I can look at that, because I am positive that's not from me, because I haven't soldered on the board yet. I've only soldered the edges under the microscope, so I know I didn't have solder blobs over here. And desoldering, I don't get solder blobs from desoldering. So that, I'm sure I need to re-clean this. This is the prior work. I have to scrub the prior work really good. Get that solder blob off of there. That looks like it's shorting those two pins. Clean up this prior work again. I got to re-scrub that. I didn't actually scrub that prior work. I need to do that. And then repopulate sockets. Okay, and this board is done. As you can see, it is all cleaned up. Done nicely. Put a new leg on this chip, and it is soldered solid. Okay, so we'll repopulate this, and I think before I fire it up, I'm going to look at the CPU board and see if I need to reflow these, and the power input and the video output and stuff like that. Okay, this is the CPU board, and this is awesome. That's been reflowed. Over here, the other one has been reflowed, looking good. It needs to be cleaned up. So I'll scrub it. I'll spray it with alcohol and scrub. This one has been resoldered. Very nice. That's resoldered. That one's resoldered. That is the video output. And that's been resoldered. Looking good. So all of the connector innerboard connects have been resoldered, except for they did not resolder the power input. Look at the cracked joints. Cracked joint. How do you do all of these and not do the power input? That is amazing to me. Anyway, I'm going to redo that, and then I'm going to scrub all of these, clean it up, and then we'll fire it up. Okay, and this is the CPU board, and there was junk. There was something stuck all over the back of this board. So I had to spray it with alcohol really good and scrub the whole board really good, and it came clean. So that was nice. It's nice and clean now. And we have our header soldered. No more cracked solder joints. And I took the liberty to replace the inductor. Remember, they had just had a jumper across it, and that acts as a fuse. If the 12 volt line shorts on the sound I/O board, this will fry before it goes back and gets the power supply, I believe. So I believe that's good to have in there. We can clean off some of that burnt marks. Nice and clean. Make it look good. Okay, this board is done. We still have to keep our mind not on this board, the soundboard. Remember the I/O board. Remember how the character was moving to the right all the time? So we'll have to keep our eye on that. This board is better now. So let's hook the system back up and see what we get. Okay, we're hooked back up. And we are populated. And I've double checked my cables, make sure they're right. So let's go ahead and fire it up. And let's see if we come up to the test mode. Yep, here it comes. Slowly but surely. So let's move down to channel test. Okay. Reset. And I am going to replace this guy. Be right back. Okay, I have replaced that one with this, and we'll go down to the channel test. Reset. Okay. And let's go to player input. Player 1 right is always on. You see that? Right is always on. That's weird. Let's see if it's my setup. And let's just whoa. And player 1 right is still on. Let's move this one. Oh, now it's out of that took it out of reset, or that took it out of test. Let's coin it up and see if we move right all the time. That's coin. Oh, I don't have a... All right. Let me hook that back up and I'll be back. Let me figure something out. It's moving automatically to the right, see? Watch. I just used a wire to coin it up. See, it goes automatically to the right. And I have no inputs hooked up. It's one of these 244s. Has to be the problem. Because the inputs come through here. You know what I can do? You know what I can do is I can just probe and see if the player 1 right input, which is over here. So it's going to be one of these 244s probably. I think the inputs are here. We might have a shorted cap. We have a, could be a problem. I need to find out if player 1 right is high or low at the pin. So let's do that. Let me get the little scope out. Actually, I can probably just hook up. I'll just hook up my logic probe. Okay, I got my logic probe out. And it doesn't work unless you do that. I need to replace the cable, apparently. High, low. That one is low, and that's probably player 1 right. wonder why that's low. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Why is it held low? I got to get the schematic. All right, well, it's a pretty simple circuit. This is that one that was low. It comes through this resistor and then comes over here to this capacitor and then comes over to this 244. So I was like, well, it's probably the 244 because this was not a short across this cap. That cap was not shorted. This cap was not shorted. So I was like, well, this is probably holding it low. So I clipped that and it was still low, and then I clipped the cap and it went high. So it was a leaky cap. So I'll just replace that cap and I'll resolder that pin down and it should be good to go. Okay, new cap right there. We're hooked back up, ready to try it again. We're going to boot right into test, so let's do it. Okay. And we'll come down and do our switch test. Come on. I think first let's go back and just make sure our channel check is still going good. Reset. And then we'll do our switch test. Okay. Down, up, left, right. Okay, so we are no longer stuck. No longer stuck in right. Yeah, that was weird. So, boy, I need a spinner. I need a Tron spinner so that I can hook that up. But as for now, I do not have it. I do not have one. Let's reset. And I'm going to go into gameplay. Let me set up the camera. Okay, so let's go ahead and play. Hopefully I can get to the light cycles, because that one I can actually play. So let me coin it up. And start. Oh, let's go up. Tanks. Tanks a lot. Down. Gosh. Oh, let's try right. Yep. Suicide mission. Left. Light cycles. Oh, let's do this again. We can do this. golly, I'm going to say that's a successful test. By George, I do believe we've got it. Okay. It is currently 6 o'clock in the evening Friday. So we will see you back here at 9 o'clock. I've got my score on there of 1575. And if that's still on there, we will have known that this thing did not reset, did not flake out. And I don't believe it will. We've got it solidified now. So I'll see you in a few hours. All right, well, 'tis $8:58, so that is exactly 3 hours. $15.75. So we are still good. 3 hours, no issues. So let's put this thing into test, and I want to just go back through I got to reset. Oh no, it's good. Let's move down once more. Okay. Good. Let's go player inputs. Good to go. So let's go ahead and let's take it out of test. And there we go, rebooted. So that's good. Let's, one last time, a quick game. With the lights on. Let's go ahead and just coin it up. Let's go to the right. Suicide mission. Okay. So I would say that we are good to go. What did we do? Well, on the CPU board, all I did on the CPU board was replaced the inductor for the 12 volts going to this board. And I reflowed the header pins here. And I cleaned the board on the back. Remember, it had some substance on the back. I cleaned that off really good. This board was a lot of maintenance. I replaced every socket on this board. Yep. And this board, I replaced all of the sockets, the original sockets. And it replaced that cap. Remember, it was leaking and pulling that to ground. Fixed this chip. Fixed the leg on the chip. I had to replace one of these. You know, one of these AY 8910s was bad. And reflowed the headers. Resoldered the headers. I guess that's it, right? A lot of maintenance work. So it was, yeah, this, you know, the thing is this was out for repair. This thing had been repaired. And, yeah, just, it's not always fun to go through and replace all of them sockets and stuff, but with these board sets, it really is necessary. You know, so it's not, it doesn't, it's these types of chips generally. In these EEPROMs. The other EEPROMs, the bigger EEPROMs, the 28-pin ones, they seem to be decent in these sockets. But these types of chips always seem to have issues with the sockets for some reason. Anyway, that is going to do it. This one did its test. Oh, it's credited up. I was like, what's going on? I forgot. I hit 2 credits instead of 1. So, yeah, it's credited. I'm just dying. And one more. Let's just do the same thing. Your ranking is terrible. Yeah, now it's... Oh, there's still a credit. Yeah, when I did credit it up, it really bounced it. Now there's 0 credits. Yeah, you get the picture. Tron. Yep, good to go. A lot of maintenance work. But now it should be A-OK solid. So, as always, thanks for watching. And, you know, I'm curious. This thing went out for repair 2 months ago. Another repair person repaired this. They did not check to see whether the up, down, left, and right worked. This thing, I'm sure this has been bad. I'm sure that had been bad. You know, it's not very thorough, to be honest. But yeah, okay. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next Classic Arcade Repair episode. Bye for now.